Hello. We here? Are we doing it? Are we live? Is this pre-recorded? Quacko, hello. Connor, hello. Oh, right. Matthias, hello. AC, nice for you to join us. Indeed, this is all pre-recorded. Binary, hello. Harand, hello. Ben, hello. We did it. I'll show you in a minute. We did it. We got pew, 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 and lines drawn, and the only thing I did off stream was I finished up the debug layer, so now that has the ability to render cubes, lines, and frustrums, and then anyone can just call that and throw that into the mix, which is quite nice. Julian, hello. But today I want to think about sound. I have no idea if OBS is set up for this at all. We're gonna write some code to play some sounds, and we're gonna see if anyone can hear it. I know, right? Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Yeah, no, AC, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good now. It looks almost like a game. Quacko's been here for 60 consecutive streams, which is absolutely outrageous. Right, let me, whilst people filter in, let's have a quick recap of where we are. Matthias has reset for 17 months. Crazy. It's so great. So pleased you guys keep coming back. Right, okay. So here we are. We've got the game. The gun always renders on top and it's correctly lit and stuff like that. And then we got the little black smudge in the center, which is our reticule, which is actually just a sprite rendered in front of the player, which is really funny. You mean you watch other people? I find that I'm hurt. And then, yeah, we can click and we can fire, and it will draw a line from where we fired, from our face hole to where we hit, and then we can draw a normal where we hit as well. So if we find like a pipe or something to shoot, we should see the all the normals coming off exactly where they're hit, which is quite cool. Got flashing light now. Because the reticule is actually a cube, a sprite rendered in 3D space, it does clip through the wall, which is quite funny. But I quite like it. It makes me happy. So that's done with the model, not your colliders. I don't understand. I think there's some pipes up here, yeah. So if we kind of shoot across the pipe, we should see the lines, the normals correctly going across. Glad I can help, Girota. Good luck. That sounds like a massive ball ache, so I wish you all the best. You can't click and hold fire yet, but we'll get there. So you raycast the actual models, not the colliders. Yes. So I currently have a very naive custom raycaster. So every renderable entity has an AABB. So I iterate through all. There's no binary space partitioning. There's no clever scene hierarchy. I literally just loop through every single thing on the scene and see if the ray intersects the AABB, and then I just loop through every single triangle. And for the size of the level we've got, it's absolutely fine. The end goal is to hand that all over to Jolt to make it do the hard work, because it'll be better than me. But for now, it's pretty accurate, which I'm quite pleased with. So yeah, we can click. So today I want to add some sound, because I think that will make this. I've got some pew 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 noises, not recorded, I'm afraid. Maybe that'll be an Easter egg. Some purchased ones. I also got some royalty-free background music, which I think will just be a placeholder. I don't know. It's all right. I don't know if I'll use it in the final thing. And then some other ambient noises. So. Indeed, we're going to keep this crosshair for as long as possible. So basically, the way I'm kind of thinking with the audio is that I looked back at how we did it in the last project, and I'm basically going to rewrite that today using that as a crib sheet, but expand it, because I looked back and we only supported playing one sound. That's all we could do last time, was play a single sound, and that was the background noise. So I want to have some number of slots, like 64 slots, and then a sound manager class, which is in the service locator, and then anyone can be like, hey, play a sound, and it'll just go and find the next slot. I think that's probably good enough to get us going. We probably want to have some sort of semantic grouping of them, like, you know, some number of slots are reserved for background noise, some number of slots are reserved for ambience and for gun noises, and then we can prioritize them. But for now, like, let's just throw a load of shit at it and see what happens. Projectiles is kind of, it's all on the plan, but for now I want it to feel like, it doesn't feel like I'm shooting a gun at the moment. It feels a lot like I'm clicking the mouse and a line is being drawn. So we want sound, then we want recoil, and then we want particle effects. And I think once we've got that, it'll feel like a gun, and then we can add some stuff to shoot at. Do we not just want a list of X sounds to play in X frames, or what? So I think the way it's going to work is I'm going to keep it super simple. There'll be two modes. There'll be instant and loop. So you can queue up. There's no queuing, right? You say I want this sound to play now, and you basically say whether it plays and finishes or it plays and loops. And if you loop, you have effectively claimed that slot until the game ends. We'll probably have to have some sort of handle-based system in the future for cancelling it, blah 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 blah. But for now, that's kind of the rough. Right. I've got, like I said, I've got a bunch of. I've been really looking at the old code and thinking about this a bit, and I think that's what we want. So, without further ado, let's start writing some code. Obviously, we're gonna have to have a man. Let's see. I think we're gonna want a new directory, which is exciting. So let's do the source audio. And then do eSource audio manager.h. Pragma 1. Let's go through all the C++ boilerplate. Oops. And then I guess something like class audio manager, something like that. So we're going to have some public and we're going to have some private. And now I'm going to get up my notes. Harand has a keen eye. This is almost certainly going to be managing the audio. So we're going to use Xaudio 2 like we did last time. It's pretty low level. It's pretty systems programmy. It's kind of fun to do. I can kind of convince myself I did the audio programming from scratch then, because I don't really know how low level you could get. I was looking at how the old project did it, and we pre-processed the WAV files to extract the various bits we needed in the resource packer, and then encoded that in the TLV, the old project. I'm not going to do that this time. Like, I'm just going to literally just read the file off disk and process it as part of the sound manager. Is going to, when the sound manager when the audio manager starts, it's going to read every audio file that it can find in the resources and process them, and then just keep them there in memory, and then you can just call them by name to play them. That's my plan. I think The Tour of Modern C++ by Biane is probably a pretty good book if you're really starting from scratch. Effective Modern C++ is my favourite C++ book, but it does stop at 14, unfortunately, and but it's still got a lot of gems in there. Yeah. Wow, it's easy to pass, mate. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to do is to get this constructed into the service locator, created in main and registered, and have that loading all the audio files and probably logging that it's loaded them. So let's do something like something like that. And then what do we need? What do we actually, when we construct it, what do we need? We need is it the header? We need the format and the data. I think that's all we need. So let's do VS audio source audio. What do I call it? Clip, track, soundbite. I think manual coding is definitely fun and hanging around for a bit. I think the industry is changing and moving quite a lot. Track. Let's do track.h. Okay. So in our track.h, we're going to have track once in space. Oops. And I'm going to have hash include vector, hash include cease. Where's stood byte? Is that cease to def? And then we'll have struct track. And this will have stood vector of stood. Oh, wait a minute. I don't already have this. What for? In core? No. Utils, data buffer. So we have data buffer format. I'm not an audio engineer, by the way, so I'm going to be making up the terminology largely as I go along, and the data. So that should be what we need for a track, right? It's 2 blocks of data. How we pass that? TBC. How much longer would this project take if it was only in C? A lot longer, because I don't know C as well as I know C++. Like, if you had someone who knew C as well as sort of a comparable level to my C++ like knowledge, then I don't know. It's hard to say, really. Maybe I would probably argue maybe a little bit longer, because you're probably going to end up having to write vectors and hash maps and all that kind of gubbins anyway. So similar? I wouldn't know. It's kind of it's almost an impossible question to ask, but I guess it's interesting hypothetical. I think the C version would look a lot different as well. Like, I've designed this to lean into modern C++ as much as possible. So I think if you were designing this in C, you would design it probably completely differently, or, you know, some parts quite differently. Okay, so we got our track. So let's do now hash include vector, hash include audio track. And then let's go stood vector track tracks. Okay, so the constructor this will construct and fill this with tracks. So this is going to need a hash include core, or is it under resources? Resource loader. So we'll take a resource loader. So we're going to use that to fill in the tracks. Maybe a map to name of tracks. Yes, I think that would be better, actually. Let's do that. Let's do hash include utils, my broken string map, which I've still not got around to fixing. String map, track, tracks. Okay. So this is it, and then eventually we're going to have, I'm not doing it yet, we're going to have something like auto, like play, stood. I'm going to do it with strings just because it's easier. Name, void. Right, and then probably some sort of like play mode on the end, which will be single or loop. So that's kind of where I'm going to go, and then basically you can just call this up to just do whatever you want. You can just start like adding tracks to it. Okay, let's see if we can get some of this like built, because there's a little bit of moniker. No, sorry, wrong thing. There's a little bit of chuff we need to do first. That's fine. Get rid of all this stuff. Probably still want the namespace. And then that will be tracks. Okay. I can't remember how resource manager or resource loader works. I think you can query for some number of resources, and this will give you back all of the minutes. I think we can say, give me all the sound ones. I think so. So if we do ls secret assets, did I call it sound? I call it sounds. So some in here. There's a Spectre bullet, an ambient space station, a low metal footprint, foot noise, and a backing track called To the Space. So we're going to be trying to load all those in, and then see if we can play them at various points. Footstep, yeah, okay, fine. I got stuck there for a second. Right, audio manager. Let's do range. Can one range? I'm just gonna not for a second because I just want to just check all this. I just need to just convince myself this is all wired in first. And then we will range. So let's do a boomer loop. Let's do for const auto resource in resource loader dot resources sounds. And then we're going to do log info loading resource. Because I can't remember what format this comes back in. I think it stuffs the name. I think it prepends them with sounds // No, I've not tried just file. I've heard of it. Just again, it's one of those things. There's just not enough time to try everything. Source graphics, CMake to source audio FG source audio. I'm already using now the terms audio, sounds, and tracks. I already hate everything. But hey ho, right, sound manager, and then let's do source make file, and then we'll do a directory fc audio, and then we're going to then we're going to the service locator, forward declare sound manager. We'll take one of those here, please. Stuck with that in the service locator hole, and then we can go to main and find this. Nope. Just what's one more include between friends? And then we're going to go service. Somewhere in here I set up all these. Here we go. I'm still not convinced these need to be unique pointers. I need to take some time to kind of convince myself I've made the wrong choice. Alright. Okay. This should work. Nope. Nope. It's because it's audio manager, isn't it? Did I call it audio manager? Yep. Did someone mention that? Alright, someone's already saw it. Saw it. I thought I had subtitles on, or at least, like, do you mean now or in the videos? Because I don't know if you can do it live. I don't know if it will live do it. Bleh. For declare of that, fine, don't care, don't. Oh, is it because it's... If I just really, really mess this up. Wow, that was quite spectacular, that. Yeah, right, okay, I'm getting there. Okay. Obviously this will not... Oh, boo. I've still got a sound manager somewhere. Have I got that in main as well? The goal for today, I should have stated at the beginning, I do like trying... There are live CC extensions for Twitch, not sure about the YouTube setup. X Audio 2 is off for live, as in like I've turned it off, or it just generally is off. What have I done wrong? My aim today is to play a sound, so oh hang on, I've got to pass in the resource loader. If memory serves me correctly, that is a unique pointer. Louder resource loader. So I think, is it not that? Is that? Yeah. I think ClangD is struggling a bit with all the C++26 stuff I'm using that it absolutely does not understand. It's not off if you're not using the low latency. I think I have it on, yeah, I think I have it on ultra low latency because it's important that I am present as quickly as possible. I don't know. I'm still figuring streaming out. I will have a look to see if I can do it. That crashed, which is exciting. Basher, hello. To be honest, I don't know how good the automatic subtitling live is going to be. I mumble and don't speak particularly well. I'm not particularly coherent. Directory trying to open directory. Oh, interesting. Why is it looking in there? When I construct the resource loader here, I give it... Interesting. So these are all the routes that it will take, the file, because we're using the file resource loader. So we're looking at assets, secret assets, and the build assets. So what does resource do then? It will... So it'll take each route and it'll transform it. Interesting. It will blindly try and append that. Interesting. I don't prep. I have a rough idea. Yeah, I think Mistake's got it. Like, I have a rough idea of what I want to do each stream, but I largely just switch the camera on and start talking and just assume I'm going to figure out as we go along. But that being said, I'm always like, I'm really invested in this project and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm always thinking about stuff. Like, I've already got some notes on like compute shader particle systems, even though we're way away from doing that. If I have some thoughts on it, you know, I'll jot some notes down. So I'm kind of always thinking about it, but like specifically, I don't sit down for like an hour and plan a stream before I do it. I just like something will happen. Yeah, and I think that means, again, like most of the work happens live, which I quite like. Right, so the issue is I am constructing a directory iterator over a root and a type. So I think I might... I'm wondering if I need to do first another transform, right? Const auto e. Where's the error actually happening? So I think the question is, does the directory iterator try and open it there, or is it only open it when it tries to iterate through it? Because actually there might be an easy way of doing this. We could just do filter, right? Turn third file system. Can I do is directory e type? That might be easier. So this will just this will just filter out any, this will just check that the subdirectory exists in one of the routes that I've named, and then it will transform it into that. I was thinking, my other thought was to just convert transform each route into one of these and then filter on that, but I actually don't think I need to do that. Okay, that is, not that you can see it, but that is running. Sure, it's logging. Right, quit that. Okay, did I... Right. Great. Thanks. Absolutely outstanding. So ignoring that. That's really interesting, actually. This system, I don't think... Yes, but there's also, so sounds is in, oh, is it audio in, no, I don't think it's audio in dev. I think it's sounds in both, but there's not one in the build directory, because part of the way the resource packer works is it creates effectively transient resources that exist only in the build directory. Yeah, this is really interesting. I'd not really considered this design where what happens if the same file exists in two separate subroutes. I mean, I guess just don't do that. You know? Okay, let's try if we can load all these. So let's do... I need some code to... resource... I'm just looking at my old project for this. There is something somewhere that extracts the audio. Okay, this is gonna be... So from here I can do const auto track data equals resource loader dot load data buffer resource. Okay, so that will read it off the disk and return it to me as a vector of bytes, which is what I want because it's binary data. I then need to pass that. WAV has like a sequential format with basically magic numbers in it that you sort of seek to where those magic numbers are, and then the data is after that. So I wrote last time this, and I don't think there's much point in me rewriting this bit because I know it works and I really don't want to introduce any bugs. So I might just do that. Okay, so pass chunk, you give it a source and the control code you're searching for, then it will return you back a, most importantly, it will return you back a span. So none of this does any copying apart from the chunk sizes here, apart from just copying out a chunk size. None of this is copying any of the data. So it's just seeking through a buffer to find the specific subsets of that we care about given the WAV control codes, and then we can lift and shift that into our track data, he says. There's some things I don't like about this, so let's do hash include utils core, no, utils data buffer. So std span should be UFPS data buffer view, because that's the type that I've opted for. And then we need, let's include utils. In fact, actually, I think this code is wrong. I think we should not be using a exceptions here. I think this should be std expected std string, and then if chunk header. I prefer to use the freestanding functions. It just feels more functional to me, which is what I prefer. You obviously don't. Feel free to disagree. If std oranges empty chunk header return std unexpected could not that should be std format could not find control code. No, because I can't slap that in there. Okay, fine, whatever. Could not find control code in chunk. Oh no, wait a minute, you can. I think you can just. Oh, you can't print a std byte, can you? Because you can just print. You can just format vectors now, but I don't think you can just format. A span of bytes. Yeah, so I'm not that fussed about it. Okay, right. And then are WAVs split into audio frames? I don't think so. I think you basically just get chunks, and there's only two chunks we care about, the format and then the data. So get the header offset. Memcopy, obviously in hash include C string. Where else would it be? And then yeah, so log those just so we can see what's going on, and then we return that, which will reduce to that, so that is fine. And then we're going to basically do. I think WAV is a very simple format. I'm not an audio engineer. I don't really know all the specifics, but I'm going to show you how it works. So that's going to be the track data, okay. And then we're going to do. We have to basically pass out specific chunks. So I'm going to take this code again and rework it for us. So this is what we want. So you need to find the riff chunk, and then within the riff chunk we find the wave chunk. I don't know why we need to do that. I think this just validates it. This just validates it, I think, because then we need to find from the actual data the format chunk and then the data chunk. So this can go away, that can go away, and then all these datas become track data. I think if I remember correctly, we just checked those first two just to verify it is and then we do if not riff chunk log warn log error failed to pass WAV, and then we can do resource and then riff chunk dot error. Then we can do const auto wave chunk equals that. Then this is basically this. And then we do this, then we do that, then we do the other wave chunk, and then we failed to pass WAV resource fr theta wave chunk. Why are you having a bad time here? Oh, because this now needs to be star because it's stood expected. In this case, I'm saying the errors don't. In other places of the code, we do make use of exceptions to kind of propagate the errors, but I think in the sense like either the audio is there or I think I'm still figuring out exactly what I want my kind of error handling strategy to be. I thought I had a pretty clear idea at the start, but that has evolved slightly as we've gone through. I think in this sense, if the audio file isn't there, probably still play the game. I don't know if that makes and log it. Do you know what I mean? For now, I don't know if that's right or wrong. If we think it is a absolute hard application error, then we should just throw. But either way, this helper function should absolutely return expected because I don't want to be doing try catch, right? Like, I think helper internal functions like this, like it either failed to find the data or it didn't, right? It's up to me as the consumer to decide if that is an exception, and I've chosen at this point to not propagate that as an exception. The other thing would be just to make these basically throw. So yeah. Sorry, have I missed other stuff? Yes, so... and then... So let's do... all like that. If format chunk failed to pass WAV, and then format, and then we'll do format, and then we'll do data chunk f data. But also like got pretty good to like utilities around exceptions and contract violation and other bits and pieces, so I can normally, like, unless it absolutely crashes, I can normally get like the line, I can normally get like the source line where an error happened. So yeah, we can normally figure things out. Right, okay, so now what I want to do is do tracks I think, so there's a couple of interesting things there, like C and C++ are two different languages and they have different idioms, and C++, whilst it probably does share some idioms with other languages, it also has, like, every language has its own unique idioms as well. So do be, I think taking what you know and trying to move it in C++ is probably a good step, but do be wary that eventually you will need to kind of commit to like the C++ way of doing things. Now, if you ask someone what is the C++ way of doing things, you will get absolutely wildly varying answers. That's also something else to be aware of. Okay, so tracks, I want the resource name but without the sounds appended to it. So I think I need to do resource dot substra and then do resource dot find last of, and then like backslash, I think, equals track dot format equals format chunk dot data equals data chunk, I think. Something like that, does it? What have I done wrong? Oh, have I got to have two backslashes? How do you do code reviews? This I don't. I just think really hard about the code and hope I get it right, which is an absolutely terrible way of doing it. Okay, right. I don't know why it doesn't like that, but the compiler will tell me. So that should... I don't think that will build, but I would like it if it did. So that should populate all the tracks. Oh yes, of course, they're expected. Yes. Missing 3. I'm just missing 2, am I not? Yeah, also, I guess, yes, I kind of the dear viewers are my instant synchronous code review, and the one above. Where's the one above? Where's the one above I'm missing? Yeah, but track data is the original data, right? That's this. That's not unexpected. Did Twitch usually relax their restrictions? I believe they did. I believe they did. Could not convert from a constant van byte to a data buffer. Okay, vector bar. The only thing Twitch doesn't let you do is it doesn't let you have a. I think Twitch prohibits you from having a one of the other multi-streams be better quality. Am I going to have to do something like third ranges C begin, third ranges C end, snit chunk. You know, like that? You let me do that? It is that fine, whatever. Right. Steady, stay on target. Ooh, stay on target. Right. No, not yet. Just stunned silence. There. Yep, alright, we'll get that. See? Instant code review. It's nothing like having, what, 150 people review your code as you're typing it. Okay, right, so that's, I'm gonna run this without, so we can see the logs. I know, right? But it's not just one typo, is it? There's a multitude of typos. Okay, so this should load those off the disk. Ooh, bang. Aha. Failed to map file. Why is it even... File resource loader. Why is that... Let's do file resource loader. Where was that dying? It's in there somewhere. I saw it. File resource loader 40. Yeah, I bet you can't create a file mapping to an empty file. Well, this has no concept of Git, right? So it's just my terrible bug. Let's do that, and then let's do stood ranges filter const auto e return e dot. So it ends with .wav. Can't remember, just not ranges, views. I keep doing that up to full. What's oranges? Oranges, they're citrus fruit. Okay, we're back. Didn't crash. Let's check the logs. Audio manager, got all the offsets, chunk size, blah 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 blah. Loading. Nice. So now we can actually do some. Let's commit this. I think we can commit this. I think we can basically say track struct add audio manager class fix resource loading bug integrate new manager. Okay, right, good, clean slate. Let's see if we can play something. It didn't crash, it was fine. I just oh, it's because I was running it in the mode where you can't see it, but I can see it, because it then means the logs go to the output, because the log's more important for us to see. Well, I already have the code for doing it, so it's just a case of rebuilding that. So let's do hash include x audio 2. I think that's all we need. I think that's the only header we need, and then we can do I'm gonna want a memory, and then we're going to do std unique pointer of a, it's all com misery, so we're going to have an ix audio 2 and then x audio. That's the main object, but I need the deleter for that. But it is com, isn't it? Right, now, do I already have a com release somewhere in the code? I do. I do already have a com release, because I am a genius. So let's bring that in. Hash include utils com release. And then now my unique pointer should just have a decal type of a com release. Why is it not like that? Oh no, it's just a type already, isn't it? Sorry, before I was doing it with a lambda. That's what I need. I'm being absolutely stupid there. You don't deserve to write this. It's just right. It's an experience. At least it's not the What was the misery had to write for the font rendering? We had like a proxy blanket. If that stirs any repressed memories in people. And then we have a std unique pointer. Com is component object model. It's effectively a Microsoft. It's a language agnostic interface and basically IPC mechanism. So you define a com interface, and then you can call that remotely directly on the same system. It's basically a vtable with extra steps. But Microsoft bloody love com. All the DirectX stuff, everything's a com object. I don't know if I can actually see the definition for this. So everything inherits from I unknown. Okay, so they basically. I'm not an expert on the history of it, but it was when Windows is all C anyway. It was around the time C++ was coming out, and they were like, oh, this thing called C++ might be useful, and we want to develop this new interface system. So they designed it to basically be directly operable with C++, which is why it's effectively just a class with a vtable, but you can implement it with C++ classes. So you have the middle interface, which is some unique GUID they assign everything, and then everything inherits from I unknown, and then you basically have a bunch of methods on it, and I unknown always has 3 methods, isn't it? Like release, query interface and something else. Yeah, fun. Gotta love it. So now I want an IX Audio 2. Remember, IX Audio 2 better than IX Audio 1. I want the mastering voice. And that's going to be the mastering voice. Yeah, com is old. Okay, right. So now we actually need our own. Probably just const expra auto destroy voice auto obj destroy voice. Inline stat. I thought static implied inline. Okay, fine. And then this needs to have because this is now lambda. This needs to have the decal type to get the type out of it. Because you're not allowed to know the type of a lambda. All right. Okay. Context for implies inline. Yes, so is it just the static I was missing then? You might be right. I think it was worth it because it is used in a couple of different places and it means I don't have to keep having random inline lambdas all over the place. Right, so the mastering voice is the kind of the thing that you sync the audio tracks to. The mastering voice effectively is the connection to your hardware. Okay, so if you send something to the mastering voice, then it gets played on your specific hardware. Where else is there com? There's com in com release WMI. That's where we've used it before. So all this gubbins here with Bistra. Do you remember Bistra? Oh, the other Microsoft string implementation with the enum webm class object. This is how we query the game when the game starts up. This is how we query for stuff like number of processors and stats around like what the system has. It's basically WMI is basically like a query language for Microsoft internals. And we will need it eventually when we do font rendering as well. So this is grim. Some of this code. There it is. The CoSet proxy blanket. One of my favorites. Windows management interface. I think that's right. Anyway, so we got the mastering voice. You can also have sub voices, which we never used last time, which I think we might use this time. So you can group voices into sub groups, so and then they can all have like the same effects but the same volume applied to them. So we could basically say if we expand like the number of audio slots, be like these are reserved for background noise, these are reserved for gun effects, these are reserved for UI effects, we could stick those in a sub voice and then have toggles so you can toggle all those volumes separately. And then finally we're going to want stirred array stirred unique pointer a IX audio to source voice decal type destroy voice. Let's go for 64 and that will be the voices that we actually, these will be the things we actually sort of send the track data to. So the IX Audio 2 source voices will be connected to the mastering voice, which somehow uses this IX Audio top level object. I think IX Audio 2 is the thing you create. It's very common to have a thing that then creates other things. Like DirectX does that all the time. You have like the direct create device, and then that will be like, from this I can then create a surface. From the surface I can then blah 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 blah. So we'll have 64 slots, and then when we go to play a sound, we will search for a slot that is currently not playing audio. We'll shove some WAV data into the sound hole, which will then go to the mastering voice hole, which will then go to the speaker hole. I think. I need to now construct these. I may have to... Annoyingly, I may have to... I suppose these are just COM objects. I think I just leave these blank and then I fill them. What is this comma doing here? Where'd that come from? Right. Why not use OpenGL? X Audio 2 was the first one I did on the last project, and it's the only thing I have sort of a vague familiarity with. Okay, so what did we have? We had the X Audio, and then we had the X, and then we had the mastering voice, and then we had the voices. Something like that. So then we're going to do... so those all have null pointers in them now. I think I will throw an exception if we can't. Well, I have to throw an exception because I'm in a constructor, so I have no choice anyway. So if we can't even create the audio stuff, like regardless of the files there, if we've bulked up so much that we can't even create the sound stuff, then we will throw. So we're going to do ensure X Audio to create, and then we can do stood in out pointer X Audio. So that allow out pointer, I think it was 23? 20 or 23? Allows you to effectively pass in a unique pointer to a C API that expects a pointer, and it will convert it to the double pointer. You see here it takes a double pointer. This will basically means that it will inline in this function call set the result value into the unique pointer. Flags 0. The X Audio 2 processor, I'm going to have the X Audio 2. I'm going to treat myself to the default processor because I don't know what any others do. And if that better equal SOK, otherwise fail to create X Audio 2. How are we doing for time? Oh, loads of time. Right. Hash include utils errors. Okay. So we're going to try and create our core X Audio 2 object, and then from this object we will then use that to create the other objects that we care about. So then we can do ensure X Audio 2, then we can use the COM interface. So these are all the things now, right? So we want to create a mastering voice. Then we'll have a stood out pointer mastering voice. Okay, and then I think this has got like a whole host of miserable flags. Look at all these flags. Look at all these arguments. X Audio 2. I'm gonna have the if you don't mind, I will have the I'll take the default channels to go, please. Default. Oh, that must be in some other secret header file I don't know about. And then I'll have the X Audio 2 default sample rate, and then I'll have 0, and then I'll have 2 null pointers, please, and a constant. failed to create mastering voice. It seems to accept that. Okay, so that should then give us the base or X audio object and the mastering voice. I then need to oh, interesting. This might be wrong. I think the data ooh. No, it's not wrong. Is it wrong? Sorry, I just looking what I had last time. I think I might need to change track to store some Windows specific data. Oh, that's interesting. So last time I did create source voice. And I had to give it the wave format X object. But that implies you already have the format known, but I want to be able to change that. So do I create a source? Can I... Excuse me while I figure this out, because it's definitely different to what I did last time. So if we do for auto voice in voices, right, can I do X audio? I want to create a source voice, but I don't know the source format yet. Because the format comes from passing the file, but I don't think I want to create... Surely I don't create a new source voice every time. Let's have a look. Let's go X audio 2. Well, I'm going to create source voice. See if this works. Great. Okay, right. So this is what I want to call here. Pointed to one of the structures in the table below. The structure contains the expected format for all audio buffers submitted to the source voice. The structure contains the expected format for all. So I want to submit audio buffers to this voice, right? So I have to set. Are all the formats the same? Like, because it's going to be a WAV format X, I think. Specifies the data format of a wave audio stream. Channels of audio data. Specifies the sample frequency. Specifies the required average. Do I just have to do I just construct a new voice every time? It seems really wasteful. I thought the whole point was I was going to or do I just set this once and just say everything has to conform to this? Curiouser and Curiouser. I don't think. Let me just check last project. Interesting. I don't really know what to do now. Just kind of put a scuffer on things because I. To recreate source voice for each new audio. Just see what I can find. Sorry, we'll get there. We'll get there. Because I really want to. I suppose I could start. Because I really want to pre-create these. I think I can normalize it. I think I can just set them all to be the same thing. So let's try that. Oh, sorry. Right, I think I can. Thank you. I think I can normalize it. So I think I can do const auto wave format. Wave format or wave format X? What did I use last time? I used wave format extensible. Sure. Dot. Dot. That's not what I was expecting. What's wave format extensible? Ah. The waveformat specifies the format for an audio wave stream. Specifies the member is a structure of type. Oh, so that is just a subtype, right? Okay, fine. I think I just want waveformat X, and then do waveformat tag equals wave format PCM dot number of channels equals 1 dot number of samples per sec equals 48. Oh, I just found some example code. Well, bits per sample equals 16. And block line equals 2. Sure, these are all absolute magic numbers to me. Dot n average bytes per sec equals 48. I guess that makes sense. Number of samples per second times the alignment dot CB size equals 0. We were happy with that? All makes sense? Wrong order. What's the order? Is it mono then? I'm just trying to get something working. Yeah, you're right. I wonder if that should be 2. If it's 1, does it just play the same out of both of them though? I think I've only got mono audio, so I assume that plays them. So format tag, number of channels, samples per second, average bytes per second comes then, bits, block a line, bits per bits per sample comes there. Okay, right. So now for each of the voices, we're going to go right back to create source voice. What did I use in my previous code? Apparently I just went X audio, create source voice, stood out pointer, voice, and then format. Ensure equals SOK failed to create voice. I think that's all I need. Let's see if that runs. It's X Audio 2. Have we populated voices? I mean, it'll be default constructed, right? And it's an array of 64 elements, so there'll be all default constructed to empty null pointers, empty unique pointers, and then stood out pointers should slap in that. Ooh, linker e source cmake. What's the magical linker flag I need? I'm gonna guess it's X Audio 2. But we'll see. Okay, fine. What did I do in the previous project? Oh, is it? I suppose well, Linux is case sensitive. Ooh, I'm able to find library X Audio 2. That's a real bugger if MinGW can't resolve that, but I can't see why I wouldn't. It's been able to resolve everything else. I definitely used X Audio 2, and X Audio is different to X Audio 2, and I definitely don't want to link that. Interessant. Could be. No. Here's something I had not anticipated. Let me have a look. MinGW link X Audio 2. Someone's like, just go through the com interface. Like, yeah, but it doesn't help me link it though, does it? Because it's got the headers, right? So I like it's. Well, this is what we're doing now. If I hash include X Audio 2, right? That is, it's definitely got the headers for it. I could try pragma linking it. What a absolute ball ache. So if I get rid of that, what do I see? I really have to rebuild my build system. It's been a while since I've done that. So this gives a linker error, right? Because it can't find X Audio 2 create. I'm just going to search for this and just see if there's anything illuminating. Yeah, but last time I wasn't building it with MinGW, so I was using the Wine build. I was using MSVC through Wine. So someone did suggest using the pragma hack, because it is a hack. But you can do, in Windows, you can link stuff in the source code by doing pragma comment lib X Audio 2.lib. Obviously. Whether MinGW will accept that or not, I don't know. Sure. I think my issue here is that hang on, do I have a pragma push? GC warning for line. I'm gonna just quickly try this, which is pretty grim. What was it? W unknown pragma. Diagnostic ignored. It's just a wearer though, isn't it? Oh no, it's because it's wearer, so unknown pragmas. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I just wanted to see if it links first before I bother faffing around with it. Undefined symbol X ways you create. Oh, what an absolute nightmare. Right. I might have to ask the Oracle. Okay, there's a forum post from 2013, so I feel it's promising. They said you just want LPCRT4, which I find RPCRT4. I mean that just seems like wishful thinking. Yeah, no. Pragma is just a directive to the compiler to do something. It's part of the preprocessor. So section 2 is in the well, I mean, the only way it wouldn't be in the Docker build is if I hadn't built MinGW with the support for it, as if it was an optional extra. But it has the header file, right? The header file is in the Docker file, so that's why I'm kind of. So what do we think? We're thinking X audio to. Someone said 8. Yeah, whoa, that worked. I think Julian might be a genius. Because it runs. You didn't see it, but it ran. It constructed it. Absolutely saved the day there. Gemini says that. But you could have just taken that, and I appreciate the honesty. I do. I think that shows great integrity. I appreciate the honesty, but I was happy just to let you have that. Okay, we're back in business. Right, so I've got voices. I've constructed voices. We've got voices. Let's just try doing. Was it like the _8 is critical? I wonder, is that like Windows 8? Was that when it was introduced? Also, actually, is that even if that's in the docs? I'm gonna feel really stupid. No, it's in the docs. No, it does say platform requirements Windows 8. Anyway. Okay, so let's do auto play. Let's just see if we can get something to play. Like, let's not worry about looping. Let's not worry about any of that. So let's do std string view. My auto complete when I accept stuff has stopped working. I think Clang D has just about given up. Right. Oh, that's so good I named it twice. Okay, so somewhere after all this horror, we want this. Audio manager. Something like that. Auto manager. I wish. Audio manager. Right. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, don't. Harand, don't. There's X Audio 9 too. I mean, when does the madness end? There's an awful lot of integers. So... Oh, thank you very much. Very kind of you. So what's the contract I'm offering here with Play? Is it optional that it might not play because the resource might not exist, or am I enforcing that a contract? Like, have I got a wide or narrow contract here? Am I accepting any input to this and something bad will happen? Or am I going to say you give me a track that's loaded and the whole thing dies if not? I think it is optional. I think you're right, because we've basically said that elsewhere. So I think we'll do if... So let's do const auto track equals tracks find track. Oh, I hate this. Okay, FK name dot, okay, and then we do if track equals stood oranges send tracks log warn tried to play missing track name return. Okay, bish bash bosh, nice, getting there. Why not use Zolkin? This is true. Okay, right, so we're going to do that, and then we need to do... Right, so let's look at the docs for the voice. Create source voice. So if successful, I get an IX Audio 2 source voice, which is what I want. Can I check if this is playing something? So get state returns the voice's current position data. And this returns me a X Audio voice state object, where it fills one of these. Pointed to a buffer containing the X Audio 2 buffer that's currently processed, or if the voice is stopped currently to the next buffer due to play. Here we go. I think I want this. I want to check if this... Sorry, I'm not talking into the mic. I think I want to check if this is null. That means there are no queued buffers on this voice, because I'm not going to queue up things, right? So I've got one voice per thing and such. So let's do for const auto voice in voices, and then we're going to do... What do I have to fill in one of these? So let's do auto state equals X audio to voice state. Okay, and that's going to be what flags control which voice state should return values are 0 or right. Okay, and then we're going to do voice get state. Whoa, what have I done here? State, it says I should pass 0 here, so which I would do. gladly. What's that return? Can that actually fail? It's void. This cannot fail. And then we're going to do if hello. Right, then we're going to do if state dot p current buffer does not equal null pointer. Continue. Okay. So we'll find a voice that we can play to, and then we get our previous code from before. So I want to do const auto buffer equals this. I believe this is a non-owning buffer. Dot flags equals play x audio to end of play all the audio dot p audio data state. Shouldn't that be if null pointer and then populate and break, or will you fill all the buffers that are null with this track? Oh no, I'm gonna yeah, I guess I was just going to return at the end, but yeah, I guess you could. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? I was planning on handling that. Right, the data is so the audio. No, I want audio bytes, which I think is a size. Because then I do static cast uint32. And then I'm going to do track first. No, track second dot data dot size. Right. And then dot p audio data equals reinterpret cast const byte star. Actually, I'm going to be even more extra here and do stud ranges size of the data. And then I'm going to do get rid of all that. That's all shit. Stud ranges data of track second data, and then dot play begin. These are all 0 for reasons. Play begin, play length, loop begin, loop length, loop count, p context. So let's do play begin, play length, loop begin, loop length, loop count. I think I want that as 0, or I don't know if I want that as 0 or 1. And then I want dot p context equals null pointer. Are we happy with that? That is the... I don't really like the term buffer here because it's buffer implies... to me, the word buffer normally implies ownership. Do I ever mix implementation files and source files, or do you stay? For me personally, I like one file per class, or one for the header and one for the CPP file. I just find it's conceptually easier for my brain to understand, but I know some people like just like everything in one big CPP file. Okay, right. So now that we've got the buffer, we should be able to do with our voice submit source buffer to play, and then we're going to do, is this an error? Is this an error if the file is there and we have a voice slot? Is it an error to not be able to play it? Like, is that a hard error? Like, is something, I would argue something has gone wrong if all the pieces are there. I'm going to be yeah, okay, fine. So let's do ensure voice server equals s, okay, failed to set source. And then we're going to do voice start 0, failed to start sound. At that point we are done, and then I'm going to do here, the reason I did it like this, so I could do this at the end and say no free voice. So you are correct. Good spot. Okay, so the idea here is that we're going to loop through each of the voices. It's not, this loop isn't great because of the random continuum return, but it'll be fine, because what I want to do is basically keep going until I find a slot, attempt to play it, and then end, and then if we get here, we'll warn to say there was no free voice. And that buffer is wrong too. It is. Okay, so let's go to main. So let's, after we've loaded all the services, we can get AM back. Okay, and then I think just before we set everything up, and then just before we start running, I think we'll do am.play, and what did I call it? I think it's to the space. To the space dot wow. See what happens. It won't build. Oh, hang on, no, that's what's wrong. I want to make run stream, so if it does work, you can see it and hear it and have the full auditory and visual experience. It's tense. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't think any audio is playing. I didn't see anything on OBS. Did I do it? Let me make run and see the logs. I don't think it's the volume because I was checking it earlier. I can see the audio meter on OBS wasn't moving, which it does if my host machine is playing sound. Yeah, I know. Right. Okay. Tried to play. Here you go. Tried to. Oh, is it? Oh, is it? Did I take WAV off the end? I bet it's this. Do I need to do like +1? I'm going to find the last one but I want it to be one past that. Oh, you might be right. Okay, still no sound. That's fine. Not going to take it, hold it against it. Let's have a look again through the logs. +1 _8. Divide by 2. Right, so what's happening here? This implies it is playing, right? Oh, there's no error here. So what have I missed? What have I not wired up? Throw pad array length. What was that? Oh, that's the profiler. That's the sampling profiler. I suspect it's just not resolved that symbol correctly. This just gets dumped at the end, I think. Yeah, because it successfully stops all the threads and everything. These are the two outputs from the profiler. It's the loop count needs to be 1. That is an excellent point. When you set the volume, I didn't in the last code. For some reason, turning the volume up quits the game, and I don't know why. It doesn't crash. It's something to do with the Stream Deck being I don't know if it's being interpreted as an escape key character, but every time I adjust the volume, the track is quiet at the beginning as well. Maybe we should all just sit and stare at it and see if it... Sit and listen real hard. I've turned the volume up really loud, by the way. I can hear it. It's playing. Can anyone else hear it? Let me see if I can... Sorry. We can hear it through the mic. Great. Hang on, let me... There you go, what about that? So OBS is now reporting it's picking up the sound. Well, yes, clearly. It says it's active. Yeah, okay, fine. Why is this... Sorry, the mouse is bound to the game, but I can still move it over to the OBS window. Have I muted? Do I need to add it to this? It's in the... Yeah, it's in the audio mix. Hang on. Whoa, what's... Audio output capture? I've already got an audio output capture and it says it's active. No, I did not make these assets. It's definitely there on the scene. I do not understand why it's not coming through. Who made the assets then? I just purchased them. Oh, how annoying. I don't really know what to do from here because is there a volume? Yeah, the volume is like at maximum. Settings. Hang on, let me just... Audio. Global audio devices. Hang on. How's that? Are we doing it? Just as the track ends and it's not on a loop. Oh no, here we go. Yes, it's quite sad. It's just a free placeholder I found. I'll probably change it in the future. But I wanted to... Yeah, I know the echo from the mic. I don't really know what to do about that. Also, I think... Yeah, I don't know how to handle that. I might be able to turn it down. Let me try some setting changes. Let's just spend a few minutes to see if we can get this sorted because I want it to be good. Okay, so I've turned the speaker volume down. And hopefully boosted the audio as it's captured to you guys. Whereas it takes a while to get going. Yeah, you might be right. Right. I can only faintly hear it. Can you guys hear it? What's missing? Absolutely bloody everything. Faint. Too faint? Yeah, it's quiet though. Okay, let's... Can I add a filter? I'm going to add a gain to it. How's that? No, my OBS setup is locked so that it only shows certain screens. Is that better? I've just put a gain on the audio so I can... we can put... Well, I think we'll have to tweak this as we go along, but... That's pretty cool though. Right, let's see if we can add a pew 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 sound. So I have the Spectre Bullet WAV. So if we go to player actor, hash include audio manager. And we're going to play this every time we click with absolute reckless abandon for anything else. So when we get the intersection, we get the pew pew lines. Let's do... I think we're going to do audio manager equals audio manager. So when we, and regardless of whether we hit something, we are going to play a sound. We're going to do am.play spectre bullet. Spectre bullet dot wav. Let's give it a go. See what happens. Yes, it's after the intersection check. It just don't mean to. Oh, yes, you're right. Sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think if we. It's gonna be here, isn't it? Just straight up. If we're handling the click, so we don't hold it down and it keeps processing over and over again, then we'll play the sound. The file is CTER, so it is wrong, but I can't bother to change it. I know. Anything? I can't hear it, but I've had to turn the volume right down. No. Okay, fine. Oh, bollocks. Let's check the logs. I've probably just spelt it wrong. Look around it again, just see what the logs say. Yeah, the music should be there, but the pews are not. It should be fine. What I can do is fire a load and then go to the debug menu and check the logs. It doesn't. It seems to be fine with it. Yeah, there's definitely nothing in the log saying it can't play it. And it's loaded it, Spectre Bullet. And it's not got any other logs saying it can't find a thing. Oh, I mean, there could be so much wrong. I could have got. I don't know if this is wrong. No, so the whole point is that this is why I have a whole bunch of voices. You just find the next one and set it in. That's a good point, actually. Is it a conflict in something like this? It definitely has 64 voices, but are they all wired up, I think is the question. I can only apologise if this blows people's ears out. Well, if we need a format for each voice, that's stupid. Yeah, okay, okay. That's, How's that? How's the game? I could... Apologies. I've turned my volume right down. Okay, let me lower that gain a bit. Gonna lower that down quite a bit. Yeah, I know. I like not blowing my eardrums out. Okay, there's clearly lots left to be desired here. I'm not convinced I want this loop. What is this loop count for? Let me find the thing for Xaudio 2 buffer. No, what's it called? Submit source buffer. Pointer to Xaudio buffer to queue. Returns OK if successful. An error code. What is loop count? Loop count, number of times to loop through the region. The value can be used between 0 and loop count. If no looping is performed and looping, it must be 0. So I think this needs to be 0 for 1. Not for 1, for 0. Yeah. Let me just check that this handle click is... So even if I'm holding it down... Alright, I'm going to try this again. Good luck, everyone. Yes, we had that in the last one, but again, I've not got the interface for doing it yet. I have lowered the gain on OBS. I don't get why it's playing it like over and over again. That is not the sound that it's not the sound that I paid for. I feel... I think it's because it's playing it over and over. Well, so there's two issues. Either one, the format is wrong, okay, or two, it's playing it over and over again. Yeah, how do I, is there a, is it F? Bitrate 2304. And then if I do one, so it has twice the bitrate. But is the well, this is 4800 hertz and this is 44100 hertz. So this should match the second one, right? Yeah, but that's the audio track that I play and works, right? Do you know what I mean? This is 24-bit though, and it does have... Yeah, I think this is the issue. Right, let's I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna recreate that voice every time. It's not efficient, but it should be enough to just check it. Because what I did last time was this. Okay, so let's create those there. That's fine. What I'm gonna do is when we if we find a free slot, I'm just going to recreate it, which is not ideal. But what I did last time was did auto format equals wave format extensible, and then std memcopy format track second format.data std min size of format track second dot format dot size. So I'm just going to recreate this every time. And then I need to reinterpret cast this. Wave format X. Where am I missing that there? Okay, just gonna try that. Hold on, 2 butts. Yeah, we might have to have different voices for different formats and a different pool of stuff. There's a lot we're gonna have to do. I think I'll probably just standardize on it and just convert them all. Probably that. Okay, then we can just maybe just have to FFmpeg them. Okay, I'll have a look. Hold on to your ears. Yes. Because it's using the same voice each time, it's destroying it, I think, and then that's why you get that. I don't. Ooh, can we have music as well? We might be able to. You know what? Let's give it a go. Because this should just take up that first slot anyway. Is the pitch and tempo right compared to a source? Right. Okay, we'll wait for it to build up. I might need to get a background track that has a bit more oomph. Yeah. I think that's cancelled the other one. Yeah, because I'm because of the way I've horribly bodged this in. Yeah, well, we can fix that. So what I'm gonna do is go back to Audio Manager and undo this horrific bodge. And then, so did someone say that I can just use FFmpeg -I secret assets? Which was the bad one? It was the Spectre shot, wasn't it? And then secret assets sounds Spectre bullet. Oh, hang on, I'm gonna need some. No, why is it? Cannot edit existing file. Cannot edit it in place. Right, okay, fine. Has that got the right bit rate in there? I can't see it. A PCM S16. Okay, fine. So now if we move secret assets, audio, sounds, Spectre 2 to secret assets. Obviously, I'll have to do this in the actual secret assets repo, but this is enough just to check for now. Otherwise, I'm happy just to standardize on that, right? We'll just run everything. I can just make that part of the onboarding process of new assets. It was hot. Yeah, I will do. Right. Everyone hold on to your butts. Ah, great. Nope. Lost that. I think the S in PCMS is signed bit, so hang on. So that works and that doesn't. The only difference is the hertz, right? They're both PCM S16 LEs. So do they just need different bit rates? But that doesn't make any sense to me because this doesn't match the bit rate of the thing anyway. Yeah, I don't know what state the built one is in. There is a channel on the Discord for the game. If you wanna, it's almost certainly to do with the assets. I will have a look if I get time. Thoughts? I don't understand why. Yeah, why is it not? So actually, hang on. Here's. Let's go back to main, right, and let's take this out. So can we? I feel like I've got an issue playing multiple sounds. Yeah, that's slower, isn't it? No, it's kind of cathartic. Good for a sniper rifle. It's queuing it up. And I wonder if that's happening with the background audio. I actually prefer the with the background noise. Oh, but I might change to the space to something else. I found a nice free asset pack. I'm not filling all my devices with audio, I don't think. We'll check in a second, but I'm probably going to wrap this up here in a minute because I think we've done pretty... We achieved what I wanted to achieve today, which was to play sound, and my stretch goal was to do a pew 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 noise. Is that audio volume all right, by the way, with between the background music and the gun? Oh, we crashed. Okay, I think work to be done, but I think that's an excellent kind of... play background track. Pew pew. Sound on shoot. Ish. Okay, what are we up to? Stream 57. Stream 57. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that was actually a very good result. That's exactly what I wanted to achieve today, was to wire in all the X audio stuff and to make some sounds play and get it working with OBS, which is good. I the whole multi-voice thing is kind of new to me, so I just sort of took a stab at it. I'll take some time off stream to kind of go over it and see where I went wrong. And then, so next, I'm away for the UK has a long weekend, so I'm not streaming next Sunday, but a week today when we reconvene. I don't know what to do. I think it depends how much, if I can fix this bug off stream or if I'm going to attempt to do it live. But basically, yeah. Audio is kind of like, I want to get it so it's kind of there, maybe not fully fleshed out, but we should have a background noise. I think the aim is to have a background noise, have footsteps as we walk, and have pew 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 noises. Then after that, I don't really know what the next step after that is. It's probably to add like gun movement and recoil to actually make it feel like we're shooting. So that's going to be dampened harmonic springs. I think all that gubbins we're going to have to do. And yes, and then something to actually shoot at, I think. I still want it to feel... It's probably the wrong order. We probably should shoot before we have like the visuals, but I really just want it to feel... I think for me personally, I really want it to feel like that gun is firing. Do you know what I mean? And that doesn't mean particle effects or anything like that yet, but I think it's got to move, and I think it's got to sound like it's shooting. We're going to have to do it all eventually anyway. So I think we'll do that, and then after that we'll have an enemy manager, has some things we can shoot, and then it's going to be all visual. We got to start putting some glitter on this turd, right? So we need decals, like bullet holes, we need particle effects, we need sparks. There's gonna be a whole host of stuff coming up for that, and then it's going to be skeletal animation. Settings made down the road, sure. I'm sure at some point. I have purchased some sci-fi UI sounds, so we can have clicks and pops and things as we move the mouse over it. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. I just sort of realised how much there is left to do. Like, we've been doing this for coming up to a year now, 10 months, I think. We started in November, didn't we? So we're looking down the barrel. I've been doing this for 12 months now, and there's still so much left to do. I literally only just started rendering a gun in like the last month, which is crazy. It's crazy how much we've done. There's no way I started November 24. We've been November 25. The previous project, I think, was November 24. Can we keep the... I just, you know what? We'll keep some bugs in, I'm sure. Right, I'm absolutely exhausted. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. It's very much appreciated. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. Apologies if I blew your eardrums out. These things happen. I'm sure we'll all survive. Other than that, join the Discord, and I'll see you all anon.